So, welcome to today's show. My name is Larry Mugabe and always with full energy. Yes, today we are starting with much energy because it's going to be a little bit technical. And if you're a little bit sleepy, you might not understand what we'll be talking about. So, make sure that you're not sleepy. And then today we're going to talk about AI, a subject that has been left by Africans to be a subject to be discussed by Chinese, Americans, and the Russians. How about us? It is estimated that this will even hit humanity harder than even climate change. The news, and it will even be bigger than the nukes and all the other aspects. So, today we are discussing AI, and with me is the professor, none other than the Professor JC. Welcome on the show, mate.
Today you came very different, you so energized, yeah, it's the vibe we need here. So ChatGPT, it was perfected in Kenya, and the Kenyans who removed the errors, the word will pay minimum wage.
I see people replacing people
Who are not conversant with how this new technology works in the programming world. It has been one of the most admired skills. Like 2 or 3 years from now, it will be one of the most forgotten skills because artificial intelligence will get so much good at it that one person can now be able to do like a job of 500 people. If humans have managed to develop this kind of artificial intelligence that we see, what do you think now an artificial intelligence that knows all the facts can be able to develop? Someone clones the voice of the president of Uganda and then announce something that is dangerous to the public. What do you think people want to think? Some people will just believe it's true. Governments, I think they should start thinking in a way they will start putting up places where they will put poor people. Well, you asked me about artificial intelligence. It's one of the oldest technology, despite that it's taking so much, news, airtime now. It's something that's really old. It's like since 1940, it was something that was already in thoughts and in talks. People were talking about it. It just started getting traction right now, but it's the endeavor for a man to be able to get the intelligence of humans into the machines. So that's why we are saying that we hear that word intelligence. You see, they want to have the human intelligence in a way that is artificial into computers. Yes, where I also want to set it so much clear before the onset. People should understand there is a difference between artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence. Because when we say artificial general intelligence, we are referring to AGI, which is so much more advanced than anything we see on the market right now. Nothing like it. But when what we say is like something that has the ability to create the knowledge the way humans can be able to do it, that has the laborism that humans have, we shall delve into that.
Is this relevant for Africa in general? Because in most cases, when China and Russia and the US are engaged in nuclear war, for us, we are always hoping that the nukes will not drop in Africa. They will just move overhead and then hit China, or move overhead, hit the US. As Africans, for us, we shall just leave that to the mercy of God. Anyway, do you really think that Africans should get engaged into this AI thing?
Artificial intelligence is something that is going to change a lot of things. It's going to change how people communicate, how people interact, how governments are established. Like once we have been talking about having a government that has more nukes or that has more arsenals is the one that rules. This time around, I can assure you, the first government to be able to reach the extreme powers of artificial intelligence got to be the one that rules all the world. Let me say this make this acclamation. It may sound bizarre, but I'm telling you, empires are coming back. We used to hear things like Roman empires, French empire, United Kingdom empires. Those may be coming back. The country that manages to be able to reach there first is going to be the one that rules others. So why am I saying this? It's because you asked whether it concerns Africans. Africans should be so much concerned. Otherwise, we will be subject forever. Well, I don't know whether you know the story whereby this open AI that is the most dominant in news, it actually it was finalized in Kenya, and people who finalized it, Kenyans who removed the errors, the word will pay minimum wage.
You're
so
talking about ChatGPT.
yes, ChatGPT, it was perfected in Kenya, and the guys who finalized it were paid so little money than like people you would think of labor or people like these guys who lift the bricks and what. It's so little money that, well, that's not a big problem. But to your answer, artificial intelligence deserves more attention than that governments should pay more attention to it than they are doing right now. Maybe to go deep, why I think artificial intelligence is more powerful, is more dangerous, or more important, governments of Africa are giving it attention, is like if you compare the power you have now with having ChatGPT in your pocket, and then look at someone who doesn't know how to write, there is already a gap that is so big that's going to be very hard to repair unless people start paying attention. Because now you can do almost like 100 times what you used to do before. Now imagine getting your power to write and read, do math, now multiplied by 100%, then get the other one who was on zero or almost close to zero and multiplied. It's a very big gap. You understand? That's something that government should really start thinking about so closely. So I don't know whether you want to know why I made this acclamation or this proclamation that artificial intelligence may be bringing the empires, as we used to have empires. Well, number one, artificial intelligence has so much potential in army. Let's say of recent, United States came with a concept, like it published this concept of a drone, AI controlled. Yeah, what it is like artificial intelligence can make dangerous strikes, and it is always on target. You understand? Now let's think, like let's come back to what we call models. ChatGPT is what we call large language models, LLMs. So the reason why they started with large language models is because it's what controls everything. There are also many other models like OpenAI. The one which you saw is the one that released the ChatGPT. They're also working on fingers models, on speech models, on sight models. You see, so which is something else that where people tend to think that human beings are programmed being. Yeah, maybe it's right. So now with that, if you get I wouldn't say consciousness, the information and the ability to process languages that ChatGPT has. Think of it now building a computer that has that ability and then embed it in a drone that has gun in it. You understand? And then get that large language model, that model of sight, like computer vision, that is so good that can be able to see very far. And then you get the ability to think from ChatGPT. You get the ability to see with vision model. Then you get the models for manipulation and put it in the same computer. What happens is, if you had that brain, it would just always, one bullet would go with one human being. You understand? So there is no missing, far than any human can be able to conceive right now. So now with that, any country that has more than that can be able to subject another government.
Actually, when you talk about that very aspect, it is believed that right now China and US and Russia, they're engaged in this war. They know that this is something that is a golden opportunity, that if you are ahead of the others, then you will stand a better chance. And as we speak right now, countries are investing into agencies where thousands of people are programming these machines to learn how to really take advantage of the other who are not yet really like having sophisticated AGI. That's why I posed the question, should we be worried? And this is more about me. I find most people a little bit reluctant to join AI, and they take it as something that is going to replace humans, which actually I don't think it will do in a near future, but it might do in the future. But as of now, I see people replacing other people using AI. Because if I used to write like a documentary for me, I'm a writer, of course, for 2 weeks, then now I can sit on a treatment and do everything. And within 1 week, actually 4 days, I'll be done because I have an assistant, a digital assistant who is ChatGPT. So if you can just look at only that kind of potential, that I have been able now to multiply myself by almost I have like an advantage of almost 60% me, and only using only ChatGPT, the first model. How about when ChatGPT 5 comes out? So at the end of the day, I see people replacing people, but also there is more danger that is yet to be coming, which we shall delve deep into as we go on with the show. But talk me through the aspect of people replacing people.
To your point, people replacing people, it is what is happening right now. But at the end, even robots will replace people by it as well. So, first of all, just like any other aspect of life, if, for example, you went where people are very poor, and they have disease and the sickness, and you just vaccinate everyone, you give them everything that protects them from disease and sickness, all of a sudden, there would be a spike in reproduction. People would do spike. That's how it would be. And that's the same thing with supply and demand of the market. You understand? But then the problem with that is like all of a sudden there is a sharp decline after a short time. So what I'm trying to say is in a short time, people are replacing other people. It is creating more productivity between men. But at the end, in a long term, it's going to have effects in a way like now. Imagine if you had people who are looking for yes, documentaries. So now you can be able to do now
To serve
five people at a go at the same time. So what happens is, first of all, you have to be able to other people, you're not the one who knows this technology after all. There are people who are going to do the same thing, and then those who have exposure will gain more opportunities. Those who have no exposure, even if they have skill, will have no people who come to them. What happens after that? There will be out of unemployment, probably, if those people who are not conversant with how this new technology works, they'll be left behind. That's the first thing, where the people are able to do 100 times. Like now, when you go to like in the programming world, it is one of the most admired skill. Okay, it has been one of the most admired skill, but I'm telling you, like 2 or 3 years from now, it will be one of the most forgotten skill, because artificial intelligence will get so much good at it that one person can now be able to do like a job of 500 people alone. You understand? To be about anyone who has any like imagination to be able to just come and know how to command or instruct artificial intelligence to do the right thing they want. You understand? So that's the first stage. There will be more people who have started catching up with artificial intelligence to be able to replace other people in the first range. But in the range, after sometimes, there will be even whereby those ones will also be replaced. So how will that be happening? So if we go back to the models, if for example you have been observing companies like Boston Dynamics, it has robots that can jump, dance to music, you understand, that can lift things like efficiently, like as a human would do, you understand. Now, of recent, there was also this of Tesla that that is able to grip. That's one of the biggest challenge to solve with robots, by the way, to control the fingers. Those are models that also companies that are trying to develop. Now, if we manage to have robots that have a good drive of the fingers, which is one of the most complex problem to solve. By the time that is solved, that means any industry or any food processing or anything that has industrialization, anything now can replace humans with these ones. These kind of robots are far more efficient than any human being can be able to do, because first of all, they are so good at, they have computer vision which is far advanced than human can. They don't make mistakes. They are controlled by cameras. They understand multiple languages.
No one wants human error.
No one wants human errors. Now, this one is this kind of person whom you would put there, and they are able to speak all languages of the earth at the same time. You understand? Now, who wants someone who doesn't want that? Everyone who has a company will wish to have such technology in that marketplace. So now you would ask me, what is going to happen in a long term? Governments, I think they should start thinking in a way they will start putting up places where they will put poor people, because poor people have no place. I think what is going to happen is that governments will have now to start thinking ways of feeding people who have no jobs, and those people will be able to will have no option. They will just be there, be fed by the government, and the way where we get money get from that, we have to raise the taxes from these people who are making a lot of money using artificial intelligence, and then use that money tax from these big corporations, and then feed the poor.
It is getting complicated every minute. So it is a threat. So we all concur that it is a threat.
Elon Musk is one of the people who are championing, like who are pushing for people to be aware of what I'm saying, that AI is far more dangerous than people are imagining. So what you saw is one of the effects of artificial intelligence spreading misinformation. Soon enough, by the way, you'll be able to see people coming up with speeches of the presidents that have never imagined, that are like you can see someone making a video of the president of Uganda making declarations, and then they make it sound like, what we talk about, like now it's easy to clone your voice. It just takes a matter of seconds. Artificial intelligence can clone your voice, and people will never distinguish your voice and the fake voice and the real voice. You understand? Now imagine someone clones the voice of the president of Uganda, you understand, and then announce something that is dangerous to the public, and then it appears realistic. What happens after that? What is going to happen?
Yes.
What do you think people want to think? Some people will just believe it's true. You understand? There is a need of some sort of, I think, regulation that need to be put in place. Though it is very hard, because this is internet. You can't stop internet anyway. You understand? And unfortunately, because in the beginning, right now, the artificial intelligence that are being developed are developed by human beings. But what is going to happen is the next artificial intelligence will not be developed by human beings, it will be developed by artificial intelligence. Now, if humans have managed to develop this kind of artificial intelligence that we see, that has this kind of potential, what do you think now an artificial intelligence that knows all the facts can be able to develop? Think about it in this kind of context. Let's say you get a robot. You empower it with ChatGPT 5 that has all the ability to code any language, you understand. Then you give it the models, like the finger models or hands model, the movement models, and then you give it a task to develop other robots, you understand, to build other robots and then empower it with the ability to program.
That would be 100 times better than
You-
yours, or even thousands.
Now, what we are talking about here is like now an artificial intelligence has gained the power to develop another artificial intelligence. Not only that is just a model, but now it's now in a robot. You understand? Now, these robots, they are programming other robots. You understand? And these robots have the power to build other robots and also program them. What happens is now they say, okay, hey, we are tired of these human beings.
Human beings, they are
What
causing
happened?
all this global warming.
You understand?
They are a pest to the world.
It appears simple, but with the technology available right now, it's even doable. Well, this is not the only threat, by the way, as humanity we have. Let's allow me to divert a bit to give more context to people. Considering the technology like nanotechnologies, or let's go to farming where we talk about something like genetically engineering or genome editing. Those technologies are as equally dangerous as artificial intelligence. Let's talk about, like, for example, now when you get a plant and then genetically engineer it to have some sort of ingredients or have some sort of resistance. Let's say some evil doer gets some ability, or some let's say this robot gets access to this knowledge. It's just it doesn't like human beings, you understand, and then it has the ability, because of course they have that ability to genetically engineer some sort of plant. They can get these plants that we always eat, the seeds. Now, by the way, it's one of the threads people are not thinking about. Where a few individuals are the only ones who have access to seeds, and these seeds that people are having, planting, they are genetically engineered. Some people like to call them genetically modified, but now they are simply engineered. They get the genes of that plant and modified. Now, let's say any evil human beings gets some genes that are sold that cannot, that are like any and like a microbe or any manipulate biology to a way that is cannot be overcome by antibiotics. You understand? That is so resistant to any medicine, and those are possible. They are there. They are known. Like they can be engineered and then spread across the world.
People would die like mosquitoes.
No, it may even someone can even engineer it in a way it can be dormant for 10 years. You understand? That is in the gene for 10 years, and then by the time there is, and then after sometimes you release some sort of pandemic that linked to the other one you made a long time. You understand? And then that means those genes, the medicine people would be able to develop will not be able to overcome, to overcome the one is that the pandemic that was engineered before. You understand?